And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, with the second hour of Burning Wheel. So, the situation is as follows. Nicholas is wounded, he's injured. He will eventually bleed out and die. But before that happens, it's going to take a while, but before that happens, hopefully you can get him treated. Now, a person has been sent out into the winding streets of Manning Bridge looking for a doctor. What about the two of you, specifically the two sorcerers? Are you just going to stand here with your thumb up your asses, or are you going to try and do something?
What the hell do we want us to do?
I don't know, go out and look for a doctor?
Yes.
We don't know Manning Bridge.
No.
Doesn't matter. Nikki's asking you. In fact, no, Nikki is actually asking you to go and find a doctor. So look, he says it'll be a good geography lesson. You'll learn the layout of Manning Bridge better that way.
I'll most certainly do as you ask, O esteemed boss, but I think I might have a problem convincing the doctor to come with me.
Well, we've already established from Evelyn that we want, and from myself, that we don't want the. I'm going to role play it. Nikki gives you a look, just says, "Don't you remember anything? We're not bringing him here. We're going to them."
Well, I figured if I approach him, I'd have to tie him up either way.
Just fucking find them.
So,
he shrugs
Steady
and
on
gets
his way
up.
out of the door.
yeah, I think Evelyn moves to follow you, basically. Make sure you get out and get back safely. It's not sure if you can find your way back, essentially.
Well, I'll let Minnow take the lead. I'll just follow and look angrily at people as I pass them.
All right. So this is a circles test for the two of you.
I don't have any, I think.
AJ, what are you gonna accept taking the lead on this one?
Sure.
All right. In that case, what's your circles?
I have to find that. My circles are gone.
I actually have something in circles. That's impressive.
My circles are 3.
What we need is to have someone have such a high level of circles that they have circles squared.
Hey.
Har. But you have circles of 3 is actually really good.
So do I assist with mine, or?
Yeah, so you can help with circles. I believe circles can help circles.
I'll do that then.
Yeah, if you share a similar circle, you may help one another. So in this case, what you would be looking for is someone within the city-born circle. Or within the setting. And specifically, this would be a doctor, right? So you is someone who is not of your life path, but someone who shares a setting with you, which means it would be obstacle 1 as a base, then +2 obstacle for an uncommon occupation, all within the same setting, which is city setting. And it is of the same station or rank or social class. I actually know it would be
A lower station, wouldn't it?
yeah, well, strictly speaking, they would be of higher standing than you presently are, because
Well, presently, yeah, but we are noble-born.
that is actually true, and that would work in your benefit. Even though you are scummy refugees, you would be able to leverage the fact that like you are visually bred for
Better.
command. So okay. In that case, I'm gonna say, because you are very far from home and you're not dealing with nobles who will be able to recognize and properly estimate your value, the value of your breeding. I'm just gonna land you in the same social station, which is actually beneficial to you because that means you won't get any obstacle penalty from the difference in your social stratus.
Yay!
And there is no specific disposition or character knowledge you are seeking, I believe, or are you like looking for someone who is just gonna jump on the opportunity to help you, or are you just randomly like, looking for a doctor?
I'm guessing a doctor. I'm sure Nikki will pay.
All right. And
Whatever it
And
takes.
doctor, and that's it because we don't know where to look.
Yeah. AJ, could you please say something? Because you broke up for a minute. I want to make sure you're getting through clearly.
Hello.
Hello. Try just talk for a little while, and I'll see if you start breaking up.
Am I breaking up on you?
No, you're not. Perfect.
Yay!
All right. In that case, you make a circles roll for just finding a doctor. The obstacle is 1, and then it is increased by 2 for within the same setting but not the same life path. So the obstacle is 3. You have 3 dice, and you can get help from someone with the same circles, which would be Rasmus. Shihao can help you, and Evelyn can help you because she's also city-born.
So how do I help? Do I just roll it?
No, you don't. You if this was a physical space, you would help by physically giving one of your dice to AJ. This is a feature of the game, being like, I'm handing you a die to help you. In this case, we just have AJ roll her circles with modifier.
All right.
So I get how many modifiers?
That depends. Do you think you have anything else that would assist you in this matter? Do you have you can't fork skills, but you can fork wises if you have any wise that would be applicable.
Ooh, I have wises. I'm wise. Or
do you have like doctor's wise or something like that? Medicine wise, Manning Bridge wise.
No, I'm Stormland's wise. I know the ugly truth.
Yeah.
He's gonna die anyway. Fuck it. Sorry. I'm gonna try now. Graveyard wise, but that's only if he doesn't make it.
It could be very interesting if Nicholas does actually die by the end of this session.
And apocalypse wise, but that's only if something really bad happens in the middle of everything.
A different kind of doctor.
Well, when it's a war like
a doctor. But I do have a question.
If you use Apocalypse Wise to find a doctor, you'll find a blue police box standing in the middle of the square. Just be like, what? What is this?
Danny, before I forget my question.
Sorry, go on.
Can I use my affiliation for anything?
What's your affiliation?
Knobs.
You have +1 affiliation with nobles. Is not applicable to this situation. No.
Can I use my reputation for anything?
What is your reputation?
Grumpy healer.
Absolutely. You can absolutely use that. So, what's your reputation die?
1.
All right. Yeah. Take an extra die.
I'm up to what?
So you get 2 helping die, and then you have a reputation die. So you're up to your base of 3 plus 3 more. So you're up to an exponent of 6 versus an obstacle of 3.
Okay. And I'm thinking if I should use a persona, because if he dies, our bread kinda dies.
It's true. I mean, the situation could also be that you find someone who doesn't like you, and then it's a matter of how do we get him to actually help Nikki out from there.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna try with the 3. And if there's a lot of 6s that could be exploded, then that would be good.
All right. Just remember before you roll, if you're going to spend a persona on this, if you have one available, I don't know, but if you're going to, you need to declare it before you roll. Only fate can be applied after. Okay.
Because if we find some we don't like, we might actually need it to convince the bastard.
All right. Well, let's see it.
No, Arthur, base obstacle was 3.
Yep.
Ow. Shit.
Ah, that is so close.
Joy.
Oh well, okay.
There's no 6s. Why? Why 1? Why? Go! Leave!
Yeah, so you, I know exactly what's gonna happen here. You set about asking around for a doctor. And eventually people are telling you, yeah, you could go to this place, but then you find like the doctor is busy. And then it's like, go to this other place, and there's another person there who's a physician. And you arrive at that place, which is like a shop in somewhere in somewhere in Greywater, which is just south of Pike Market. And there you find like a place that when you enter it, There's a person you don't know. You don't know this person. You've never seen this person before. It's not like you see him and it's like, oh my god, it's your old rival. No, none of that. You just you find a doctor's clinic, and you get in there. You inform him of the fact that you have a person with a head wound and you need him treated. And he seems perfectly receptive to this and says, "Okay, sure. Where is he? Which one of you is it?" And well, it's none of you. So I assume you inform him you'll be bringing the person.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, in that case, there you have it. Like this person says, "All right, then, but hurry up. It's serious matter that a head wound needs to be treated immediately."
Okay.
By the way, just inform me what this person's name is, by the way.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I could make it up myself, but I want to.
You could make it up, because I actually didn't give them any names.
Alright. Let's see, his name is Benjamin.
Uh-oh.
Dr. Benjamin, of course.
Dr. Benjamin, I presume.
Dr. Benjamin Koska.
So it's a very similar name to our heroes, just not quite. Okay.
He's not a duck.
There
He
we are.
is a duck as in the harbor. He's not a D-U-C-K, he's a D-O-C-K.
So I assume we head back to bring in our unfortunate victim.
That is
Yes.
true. Also, you can both mark a routine circles test.
Yay!
Pling. It has been done.
It has been done. We found... Hey, why did I open yours? I need to open mine. I'm like, someone already marked it. Yay! Was it a routine or difficult?
It's a routine.
Really?
Yeah, you're shooting for obstacles 3 with 6 dice. So
Oh.
it's pretty routine.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah. But all right, so you go back for Nicholas. You can, I mean, if you can play it out if you want to, or we can just say you kind of get him to his feet and you make for the doctor's office.
Yep.
All right. In that case, you say, okay, we're gonna go for him now, and then it's like a quick wipe, just, and then it's the same shot. It's of you in the doorway, but this time Nicholas is leaning against Minomir's shoulder, and there's an old teacher-looking person behind you.
Yep. Evelyn's probably there too.
Yeah,
She
Evelyn's
was
still there, just
to begin with.
ashen-haired and mad.
On the way there, can we discuss? Can we have had discussed with Evelyn what we're going to do in terms of if we're going to pay any doctor, if we're just going to try and?
Yeah, you can absolutely have that conversation if you want to.
What would she have suggested?
What is the nature of this conversation?
I want her advice on whether or not we should try. If we should think about paying him with what little we have, or whether or not we're going to try and basically intimidate him into letting him have this one gratis.
So yeah, you're asking this of Evelyn, and you've known her for a long while, so you're probably not surprised when she says when she answers that. I mean, he's gonna play ball. If he doesn't play ball, we're gonna make him.
Of course.
Unless you want this conversation to be strictly between the two of you, the others may feel free to engage in the conversation as well.
No, we can have this on the way there where everyone people can be involved.
Mino is pretty neutral about it. There's not much to read on his face. He doesn't even comment on it.
No?
Nope. Nothing.
Anything from Jihaoji?
It looks like he's considering whether or not to add a snippy comment and then doesn't.
And the teacher?
The teacher seems to be lost in thought.
What a helpfully talkative bunch you all are. Bloody foreigners.
Yeah, so it's essentially, unless you want to actively engage the silent parties of Shihaoji and his teacher, the one piece of feedback you're getting, and Minnow, the one piece of feedback you're actually getting is from your second in command, basically urging you to beat helpfulness out of the person if necessary.
Okay.
Okay, that seems reasonable.
Yeah, so you make it to the clinic, and as I said, we have the, like, it's basically just a quick cut from there, and it's the exact same shot of you standing in the doorway, and the guy ushering you in.
Mm-hmm.
And you enter his praxis, and like, you guys are just basically, there's an obvious, like, obviously a place he can sit. There's a chair that you all kind of ease Nicholas into. And as you step back, and the doctor he shuts the door, he turns around to have a look at you. He notices you, Nicholas, and he gets a scowl.
Oh, not again.
Yeah, not the same kind of scowl. Just he's kind of being like, he looks quizzically at you, and then he raises his hands and takes a step back. And he's like, oh no, at this. I'm not in this sort of business.
What?
I don't want anything to do with your sort.
Just what's that supposed to mean?
It's I mean, nothing in particular. I'm not. Look, I'm very sorry. This is perhaps not the place for you.
Oh, I haven't got the time for this. Evelyn, please.
Yeah, so you usher Evelyn to do something, and I think she basically just clears the room. Small girl that she is reaches up and grabs this guy, like by his jerkin, and like starts speaking low to him, being like, "Listen up, you fucking muppet! You're gonna help him. I'm going to rearrange every facial feature you ever knew you had." And he kind of, his hands fly up in the air. He's like, no, please leave me alone. Please just go away. And he starts backing up, and he backs into a commode, and something drops off it and breaks on the floor and makes a ruckus. What did the two of you do, the twinsies in there?
Well, he ordered Evelyn to do something, so I stand there looking menacing. Like,
Yeah, you definitely do so.
Minnow just looks resignating, like, how many have you pissed off in this city?
You don't actually get the impression that it is strictly Nicholas that is the problem. It is more that the ensemble of you lot as a whole, like, as you turned around and he kind of got a look at you, like the painting that was you guys in his praxis, he realized that he had just let a bunch of cutthroats into his establishment, and now he's like, oh no, shit. I don't need this.
Mm-hmm. In the end, basically, because he doesn't want to cause a scene, Nicky staggers forward, just says, "All right, Evan, leave him. Fuck's sake. Look, sir, we're not asking much. Just fix me up, and we'll never bother you again, and we'll be out of here as quick as possible. But you're gonna help me."
Yeah. Okay. So it sounds to me like you want to do something. You want to achieve something here.
Yes. So let's see what I need to do. Let's check my skills and things. I want to try and persuade him.
You want to persuade him. All right. What is if I may be so bold to ask, like, what is your argument for why he should go against his better instinct and treat you instead of avoiding contact with you?
My argument basically being that if he does it, we won't ever come back. We won't tell anyone it happened. We'll be discreet, and nobody need know any better that he actually did treat us. I mean, there's nobody else here. Only he would have to know. And of course, if he doesn't help us, then it's very clear that we are going to make sure that everyone knows we were here, and that we're going to make him regret having not helped us in the first place. I think Evelyn's made that much clear. But yeah, basically, if he does help us, we'll keep the fact that we were even here on the down low, and we won't ever bother him again, basically.
So what I'm hearing is you are going for a persuasion test, but you want to link in an intimidation test.
Possibly. I would if I actually had any kind of intimidation.
All right, so that would be your angle, except it's not.
Well, unless someone else who is able to intimidate is able to help in some way.
I do have ugly truth.
You have ugly truth, and doesn't Jihaoji have the ability to intimidate just by being there?
No, Shihaoji is terrifying in his presence, but his terrifying presence is not an argument in and of itself. If he just walked over to the guy and be like, "I am horrifying beyond your wildest dreams," the guy would curl up and be unhelpful.
Right.
Whereas if he wants to actually get something out of him, he needs to test for it.
And no, he doesn't have this intimidate skill. He should
Fine,
have it,
fine.
but he doesn't.
All right, yeah, go on. What do you want to say?
Minomir mentioned ugly truth. Would ugly truth be useful in any way whatsoever?
If AJ can convince, if AJ can convince me that Minomir using ugly truth would be would assist you in your undertaking, then yeah, absolutely.
My approach was kinda, well, you can help us now and you won't hear from us again, but you gotta admit, if you don't, you gotta know that you're gonna have issues, right?
So you're being
yeah, the ugly logic, yeah. If you really refuse us now, don't you see you're really gonna have issues, buddy?
The ugly truth that he doesn't actually have a choice.
Exactly.
So you're playing into the reason he's actually having trouble working with you to begin with. He's like, "Oh no, I can't help a bunch of cutthroats. It's bad for business." And you then strip down that argument and present it as a counter argument, being like, "Yeah, we're a bunch of cutthroats. Please do your business."
If you don't help us, you're gonna have issues. If you help us, no longer issues.
Yeah, I see. I mean, the exact being "we're gonna hurt you if you don't" would be intimidation. But what you're when I can see where you're coming from with ugly truth on this one. It's not that you're making a threat. It's more that you're laying it out there that you should probably consider why it is you're having a problem to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You're not helping us is presenting you with an issue right now that you could avoid if you just helped us.
Yeah, I would allow that. Okay. So in that case, we're looking at what's your dice pool for persuasion and what's your intent?
4, and my intent is to persuade him to heal me.
All right. So you want this person to do his best helping you recover from your wound.
Yes.
Or treat your wound as it is. And
yes.
And your task for doing this is persuading him.
Yes.
Okay. Are you taking your sweet time explaining this to him, thereby earning a bonus die?
Do you know, yeah, I might as well. I've got nothing to lose. Well, apart from everything.
Your life, but that's about it.
So it's what +1 for the time taken.
Yeah, okay, one carefully die.
One carefully die. Minomir's ugly truth.
That's another die.
You
2.
get an intimidate die from Evelyn, who's also who's helping you.
Okay, and is there anything else? Let me look at my skills. Also, law-wise, inconspicuous. Arguing that I could be inconspicuous.
You could actually do that by saying that if you help us, you'll never see us again.
Which is what I did say, yeah.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
No one will ever know we're here.
I would not say that is inconspicuous, because inconspicuous is the art of going unnoticed, and you don't go unnoticed in the argument itself. You just make the point that you will leave and never come back, which is essentially like that is the crux of you actually using persuasion to begin with.
Okay.
Law-wise, no, it wouldn't, would it? Because
No, I
this
don't
isn't
think
a legal situation. Any of my, I can't use stats. None of them would be useful anyway.
No.
No,
I will,
in that case,
I think you'll definitely actually take an advantage die. Take an advantage die for
okay.
for basically outnumbering him and like pushing him into a corner of his own office.
Okay, so modifiers are currently at 4.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so submit that.
No,
Arthur.
Arthur.
Base obstacle.
The base obstacle would be his will, so it would be 4. And before you roll, let's not roll.
Yep.
If you succeed on this, you will persuade him to help you. But being that you failed the circles test, he will help you and then eternally hate you and like spite you for what has transpired here. But if you if you exceed the persuasion, like by you get more successes than the obstacle in itself, I will add in that he becomes like indifferent instead of immediately hostile to you. He comes away from this feeling a bit better about it. But if you fail it, he's still gonna help you, but he's gonna form a pact with a known associate of his who works on the harborfront, Dr. Kuroba, because they also share the same circles and they may talk on a regular basis. If you fail, you're not gonna have 2 enemies. You're going to have 2 enemies working together to fuck you up, and these people are going to be highly educated people knowing things about poisons and knife work.
I hate you sometimes, Daniel. Okay.
But you'll get help either way. We'll have time to kill them both.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I'll allow you to get help either way. From
submit.
in this case, because what the fuck what's he gonna do, right? No, I'm not gonna just die. No, that's not what he's gonna do.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna submit this thing now.
You can do it. You can. Oh,
Damn it!
Wonderful, but there are 2 6s in there.
use fate.
Also, I mean, it's probably been more than 15 minutes, strictly speaking, but I'll allow you to just roll another die. Just 1d6 roll it.
Right, 1d6.
All right. So, strictly speaking, the effects of the poultice that would have subtracted your 1 wound die would probably have passed, but in recognition of AJ's effort to actually make the fucking thing in the first place, I am going to say that it's just on the ass end of the effects waning, so you technically have 1 more die to roll. Because you don't subtract 2 from wounds, you subtract 1.
Okay, so that means it's 4 successes to the 4 obstacle.
Yeah, so that means you succeed. Now,
But only just so.
Yeah, he remains an enemy of you guys because you failed the check. Well, strictly speaking, he doesn't really blame you. He blames Evelyn, Minnow, and Shihaoji for bringing you into their clinic.
Right.
But you're like an associate, so you get hate by association.
Hate by proxy, lovely.
But now there are 2 different people. They've not heard of each other yet, and these are gonna represent 2 different people coming at you rather than a unified effort.
All the more reason to kill Kuroba first, so that they can't form an alliance against us.
Indeed. If that is what you want to go for, you are more than welcome to do so. Okay. So
They already talked about killing the bastard because he was a bastard.
yeah. So I mean, this conversation happens, and as the conversation transpires and loud noises have been happening and so on, you hear like a noise from upstairs, and a voice comes down the stairs, as does the creaking of woodwork under the light footsteps of a young girl coming downstairs, asking like, "Father, is anything wrong?" And as she comes
God.
down, he kind of looks to you, and he nods quietly, like in acceptance, being like, "Okay, I'll do it. Just calm down." And Evelyn releases her grip on him and kind of like quickly dusts him off, basically like just straightening his clothes and being like, "There, that's good," and takes a step away from him. So it's like, no, everything is perfectly all right. There is nothing illicit going on at all. And she comes down, looking over the railing. She's pretty, like, she's in her teens, in her late teens. A very pretty young girl. And
Oh.
yeah, so she's like,
Oh.
she's like a well-rounded, very sweet face, big blue doe eyes and golden hair, tied back behind like a white piece of cloth, and she's wearing an apron where someone has made a concerted effort trying to wash out blood stains. They've left like a brownish rust pattern on the otherwise white piece of linen. She comes down, she looks at you, and she's like, "Oh, well, good day, sirs and madam, and welcome. Father, is everything all right? I heard noises." And she notices something has fallen off the commode, and she's like, "Oh no, that's such a shame. Oh, this was mother's too." And she picks it up and like picks up the remnants of it and walks it out of the room and comes back in. And then she notices you, Nikki, and her father immediately cuts him. "Yes, this person needs our help. Please go and get hot water, and I'll get everything ready. You people, please sit down there." And he kind of sends you a begging glance, it's like, "Please don't hurt my daughter."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm not gonna hurt her.
Yeah, that's a good question. What's up with you? What does Minnow do?
Well, he's trying to curb his urge because we kind of need this guy here to be okay, but he can't help but send guys after her.
So yeah, he sees you staring after his daughter and misreads it as like you're considering killing her. And she's like, "No, please, no, please don't, please, I'll help you, I swear it. Please, just, I won't say or do anything. I promise."
I look at Minamir and send him a glare. No, stop flirting. Look, basically.
PC telepathy nod.
Minnow doesn't even look at him. He's busy looking at the daughter's ass.
Then Nikki actually slaps you on the arm to get your attention.
Ow! His hurt arm.
And then once you're looking at Nikki, he then actually says, "Stop it."
Cool.
What?
He raises an eyebrow as if to say, "Seriously?"
I'm sitting right here. I'm not doing anything.
I think the boss wants you to stop trying to penetrate the girl with your gaze.
Oh! Why didn't you just say that?
"Don't penetrate her with your gaze," said the Catamite.
Yeah.
Well, he specifically worded it like that, so the doctor could understand it as, killing her.
Yeah.
And his brother would probably understand it the other way.
Yep.
Definitely. You see, like the hunched form of your teacher is like standing between you and your brother, arms crossed, just shaking his head slowly in a disapproval of Menomir's lusty wandering eyes.
Minnow just looks out at him. Just because yours have been a very dry twig for the last century.
Oh, it takes dedication to the craft to master it.
That's why he isn't getting any. He looks over at his brother.
The teacher looks at you and like nods approvingly, like, yes, he is a good student. He's dedicated. He's dedicated to the work. It's not driven by his penis. All right, so The long and short of it is that you get like the guy starts basically preparing you for surgery.
Sorry.
I don't know how do you feel in this moment as this person whom you've just basically extorted starts pulling out very sharp, very well kept instrumentation with the knowing that his purpose is to cut into your head.
Distrustful. But
Doesn't really have a choice.
Well, that's a
No.
good question. Do you have a choice? I mean, you do have a choice, of course, but are you going to act on like a different impulse? Are you gonna let the uncertainty get the better of you, or are you committed to getting under the knife and getting treatment from this person? Do you trust in your own success, is what I'm asking.
Yes, he does.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, in that case, I think we'll see some rolls here from this person. This might go badly, of course, but hey, at least he'll have all of you guys to help him. This is not really this is the kind of situation where you are just exactly enough people that could help to not actually ruin it, right? If there was more of you that could help, this would probably go over wrong. But instead, he has like he starts prepping you for surgery. The daughter brings in warm water, like a leather strap bag full of implements, clean clothes, not clean clothes, but like clean sheets of cloth, and bandages and so on. And they they take the bandage off you, and it's clear that you're still bleeding. And he makes like a comment under his breath about what amateur did this shit.
What amateur indeed.
Luckily, Minnow doesn't realize any of this because he's still busy looking after the daughter.
Yeah, I think the daughter starts like slowly washing your wound. It hurts like a bitch, but it's not that bad. She's not scrubbing it.
Yes. I think in the moment of delirium, Nikki has an uncharacteristically warm moment looking at both of them and just actually and saying thank you. I'm not going to act it out because it would feel wrong for the character, but he does. He has a delirious moment.
Like the
Actually,
fever
thanks
sets in.
Yes. Thank you for helping me.
Thank you
lovely
very
people.
much, and a squirt of blood just protrudes from your temple. Like,
Something like that. Oh
I
god.
love you.
No.
all right, so let's see. This is a professional you're engaging here, so he definitely has surgery, and he probably has it of 5. Does he have any wises to help you here? Yeah, he definitely has something. What does he have? What can help surgery in this case?
Good set of surgical
Anatomy
tools.
wise.
He has anatomy, definitely.
That's good.
Probably has like scrapes and bruises wise.
You probably also have bloodletting that can be forked in, so he doesn't bleed the guy.
Yeah, that's true.
Completely.
Let's give him bloodletting too. Makes sense. Let's give
What is-
him bloodletting of 3, and scrapes and bruises wise for 2, anatomy of 4, and surgery of 5. Okay, so who among you, if any, are going to try and help this man?
If I'm being forced to,
I don't know if anyone is forcing you. I know that She-House teacher is gonna add his own his knowledge of herbalism into the mix.
I could add both herbalism and bloodletting.
Yeah,
Yep.
you could grant a helping die if you wanted to.
I'm gonna help him with the bloodletting then.
All right.
And I
Damn
just realized why I keep my teacher around. He's my backup healer for when my brother's out shagging some bimbo.
You know very well that he's not a healer as much as he is learned in arts that affect the body.
Yeah, but, you know, still probably help me.
Sure. So, and that's 2 more. Any help from Evelyn helps too because Evelyn has field dressing. So that's another one. And his daughter helps him, of course, because she is, after all, his assistant. And that is about as many people as could reasonably help anyway. So that means he is rolling with a modifier of, let's see again, he's forking his anatomy, his scrapes and bruises wise, and his bloodletting. And he gets bloodletting help, and he gets herbalism help, and he gets field dressing. Yeah, okay, so that is 7. Okay, so he rolls. Let's have a look at what the. I mean, his intent here is to cure you. If he fails, there is no I don't have to establish a consequence. If he fails treating you, there will be a consequence that involves you losing stats.
Delightful.
So let's see what's going on. He does have a point of fate that I've not written into his character sheet. There we go. And now let's see about actually rolling. Okay. And with surgery, and he's trying to heal you of what wound again?
Head wound, bleeding.
Yeah, it's a head wound. It's a midi wound, right?
Yes,
Yes.
midi.
All right. Let's have a quick look at the difficulty of treating a midi wound then.
Every time you say that, I keep thinking of sound bites.
I keep hearing that he's trying to cure you of midichlorians.
A
Yep.
midi
No,
wound,
no,
treating a midi
no.
wound with surgery is obstacle 3. Okay.
Yay!
So what are we looking
Jesus
at here?
Christ on a bicycle.
Okay, that actually goes over really well. All right. So
He also did have 7 modifiers. Holy shit.
yeah, you guys chipped in a lot. Also,
Yes, how come you get all the good fucking rolls?
well, this is strictly speaking. I'm just better at role playing, Chris. That's just what's happening, right?
Yeah.
See
okay.
me. I roll dice with the ancient and practiced skill of the role player.
It's it's an electronically randomized system. There's no.
And I'm from an IT education, right? I'm
Well-
calling up my contacts in Roll20.
Chris, if you realize what it says once you try to log in, it says randomizing dice, sort of.
Kind of, sort of, maybe, perhaps.
It does say randomizing dice and then a couple of dots, and in the perfect little brackets it says sort of.
Fair enough.
All right, so here's what happens when you treat the wound. Actually, I should have given him 1 extra dice because he is taking his time doing this. So let's get that one going. No, okay. So he is being careful about this and basically taking extra time surgerying you. But that doesn't, strictly speaking, help him. But all the knowledge and the combined help of you guys chipping in to get Nikki well and healthy does help. So you are sitting on 3 successes above what you need, which means that you get 3 successes towards your health check when you try to recover. So you want to remember that you get 3 bonus dice when you try and recover.
3 bonus dice.
Yeah, your head wound has been successfully treated, which means that you can actually try and recover from it. So let's see
Otherwise,
how long
comes-
time does that actually take. It probably takes like an hour. Yeah, let's say it takes an hour. So after a good solid while of basically, and it hurts like a motherfucker, right? The people are using herbalism to help stop the bleeding and to kind of help you and to help minimize the pain. But there's still someone cutting into your head with a pair of shears.
Of course.
And you're being held down, strapped firmly down. You have something you can bite on. And after an hour of unpleasantness, you can sit back up, and the daughter brings out a little. It's not strictly speaking a glass mirror because those would be incredibly expensive, but it's like a piece of polished tin or something to that effect. And and kind of lets you have a look at the stitches you have on the side of your head. There's a pretty significant like cross set of stitches near your temple, but it looks like it's been done pretty professionally.
That's good.
Now, what happens in this regard is, of course, the NPC would get a check towards surgery, but no one cares. Because NPCs do not necessarily earn checks towards anything. But anyone who helped gets a check towards the relevant skill. So for you, AJ, you help with what?
Bloodletting.
You help with bloodletting. What's your bloodletting skill?
2.
2. And you rolled against an obstacle of 3 with your bloodletting of 2. So that means it's a challenging roll. So you get a challenging bloodletting test.
Yay! Now I have a routine and a challenging.
Very nice. Who else helped? Your teacher helped, but I'll track his advancement separately.
I helped by leaving the room so I didn't cause a panic randomly.
Alright, so you didn't help is what I'm hearing. You have a very nice sentiment. Okay. And 2 other NPCs threw in as well. Okay, cool. So AJ, you earned a challenging test towards bloodletting. And you, Chris, here's what happens once you have been successfully treated. Let's see. All right, nothing happens for now. Now you are just allowed to make a recovery test. Okay. So yeah, we fade back in after the whole thing. You're looking at your wound in this polished piece of tin, and we cut over to the doctor, to Dr. Benjamin, washing his hands in like a little tub, and drying himself off with a rag. Turning to look at you, a bit of blood stain still on his apron, and removing like bloody tools and setting them aside so he can give them a scolding afterwards. And kind of he coughs, he clears his throat and says that I believe that will be all. Yes, you. That is about as good as it's gonna get. The rest is in the hands of the gods.
Well, let's hope they're merciful. Thank you.
Well, it was my pleasure, he says, smiling a very stiff and fake smile, and his eyes darting from you to his daughter, Before stepping forward, you can see his hands like fold, like he's folding his hands nervously, and as he smiles at you, at all of you, says, thank you very much for your assistance. It was very helpful having so many skilled hands at work here with me. Now, if you don't mind me asking, is there anything else I can do for you? If not, then I would ask my stipend, and you may leave. Now, you should rest, sir. This is not gonna just things are not gonna get better on their own.
I'll bear that in mind.
Good. You will want to make sure you don't tear the stitches, because they will if you strain. Don't go into any scuffles, please, because if it starts bleeding again, who knows what could happen. You need rest. You need to be well hydrated, and you need to eat.
Excellent. I shall make sure to do all those things.
Lovely. Good. Jenna, dear, he says to his daughter, would you, please take the tools out back and make sure everything is properly treated and boiled and disinfected. And she smiles like to all of you at once and moves back out with the tools in question. And he lets you stand up, Nikki, and just looks at you expectantly, like waiting essentially for his payment.
Okay.
I believe,
yep.
And you can see him like he's about to say something, and then he kind of swallows it. It's like, nope. I believe a modest sum of 20 or so what's the currency called in this world? Like, what's the name of? I was just gonna go with crowns, but I realized I'm a Dane and horribly uninventive. Like, what's the name of the small stamped silver coins they used in this world? Like, is it? Do you have any ideas for what they're called?
Shit pieces.
A bit more helpful than that, Raz.
Kurtlak.
Jahavi. I can't remember. What did we give them a name?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. We ever gave them one.
It's a very
But I
mountainous
think the
region. Maybe they're
elements,
called peaks.
Yeah, and I mean the element of earth has to do with commerce, so that would probably fit.
Yeah. Plus, of course, it allows for Rasmus to make dick jokes in Danish, so that's something.
Sure. All right. Let's do that then. So yeah, he definitely you can see him. He's about to blurt out a price, and he just stops, and then he blurts out another price instead. So he's I think 20 peaks would suffice in this case.
Do I have 20 peaks in the coin pouch that I have on me?
He's going down from asking for 2 cash dice essentially to 1. But like this has changed from an obstacle 2 resource test to an obstacle 1 resource test because he's deadly afraid of you, and that it will eventually manifest as a spite, and he will be your enemy, unless you convince him otherwise over the course of time. But
Well,
for now, if you want to pay him, you need to succeed at an obstacle 1 resource test.
well, let's give it a go. It might be a good way to start winning him back over.
So before you roll that resource test, let's establish whether or not you are using your 1 cash die, because you have a cash die.
I do.
If you use that, it will be spent whether you succeed or not. But I have the option to. I would have that even if you didn't use it, but I would have the option to say, like, you've spent some cash doing this, and even though you didn't succeed, you got close or whatever, and now you have the thing, but you lose money, right? You are now taxed. But if you succeed, then you just pay for it, and you lose the cash die. Now, if you roll without the cash die and still succeed, you kind of like pull on resources in a like very ambiguous sense. Like you pull favors, you lean on your reputation, you just make sure he gets paid and it doesn't cost you that cash die. But if you want to use it, you can.
Right. Okay. So it's obstacle 1, you said.
Yeah, it's down from 2 to 1.
Okay. I'm gonna try it. So that adds a die of modifier.
So you do spend a cash die.
I'm going to try to. Yes.
Okay. Does anyone else want to lend resources to this? Like, is anyone pooling in? Does any one of you I think only AJ has resources. If you do you have resources, or do you just have a cash die?
I have a cash die.
All right. So, and I don't know, are you inclined to in any way try and put that in there? Or are you just holding on to that and not caring?
He's still one of those who actually gets paid for helping people. So he can see the significance of actually paying the man for the work despite him not liking them.
Okay, if you do so, then even if you succeed on the check, you lose that cash die, but you will have succeeded on the resources check.
Yeah, I'll do it then.
Okay, so Nicholas, you have a base resources of 1, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you use a cash die and your own cash die, and you get a cash die from Minomir. It's like, I don't know, are you handing him like a handful of coins or something?
Yeah, he's taking the pouch off and handing it to the man.
All right. Well, make a resources test. Difficult. Obstacle 1 difficulty. Not difficult. Obstacle 1. You have the 2 modifier.
You can do it.
We believe. Yay! Yeah, look at that. That's good.
Shit.
That's really
Finally,
good.
1 fucking success this session.
That's good. Okay, so
Give him
for
all your money.
Nicholas, you can mark a routine test towards your resources.
Thank
Lose
you.
the cash die, and the same for you, AJ. Lose the cash die.
Mm-hmm.
But you, AJ, you get to mark I think it's a difficult check. Let's just have a quick look.
Routine 0, difficult 0, challenge 1.
If you make an obstacle 1 check with 1 die. Okay, so this can count as a routine or a You can decide if this is a difficult roll or a routine roll.
Okay.
Which do you want to mark?
Difficult.
Okay, so mark 1 difficult check towards your resources.
10.
Yeah. So you spend money, but in the process, you kind of like you just simply you grasp the transaction of mammon better, and eventually that will increase your resources from a measly 0 to 1 or more.
Yes, and the
Yay.
higher resources is better in many ways.
Yes, yes it is. Now you can of
That's
course still get money, right? You have just spent money, which is interesting. It's cool to see for you, especially Chris. I believe it runs contrary to one of your beliefs currently, which is trying to get money. But you're spending money to make money here, I guess. You're spending money to not die.
Yeah. It's in consideration of the fact that I'll think about the philosophy of it. I'm sure I can find a justification for it if I think about it, but I'll need to think about it in time.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you probably just pay him for a job well done, I assume.
Yeah, I pay him for a job well done. I pay him also to maybe not hate me quite so much later. Because
I mean,
if he hates it already, he's gonna hate us even more. If the point is, Nicky has had one bad experience with the Doctor already. He doesn't want to start a new one right off the bat.
Yeah, okay. And I see you're basically going over here, right? So he's asking for 20 or so coins, which you give him by giving him a cash die, and succeeding on the check. But in essence, because you overwhelmingly succeed on the check, what I think happens within the fiction is you give him money and then you pay him extra. Maybe you catch on that he's been lowering the price for your convenience, and when Minnow hands him more money, what he sees there is you guys essentially being honorable about the work he's done and paying him what he's actually owed, and that will put him, I will say, he's put in a favorable position. He's still very not cool with what he has observed as you threatening him and his practice and his daughter, and he's still an enemy, but he is more positively predisposed towards you than he would otherwise be, and working with him rather than destroying him is easier than it would be with Koroba, who just intensely hates you.
That's good to know. It's a nice little pet project we can work on.
Yeah, you can absolutely.
He doesn't like us, but he doesn't hate us as much as Koroba does.
Yes,
so,
he dislikes us. He doesn't
killed his daughter yet.
Yeah. So for the two of you, Shihao and Minnow, in your information sheets, scroll down to circles, and in there, add on circles enemies, add Dr. Benjamin Koska, but then in parentheses, make a parentheses and just type 1 in there, and I'll get to the significance of that after the session.
Where do we do this again?
In your character sheet, there is on the first page of it, the one called information.
Yeah.
You scroll down, there is below traits, there's something called relationships. And there is relationships, circles, and enemy circles. Now add 1 to enemy circles and just Dr. Benjamin Koska. Because he is an enemy. You failed the circles test, and what he perceives as you threatened him. Not what he perceives as, because you took advantage from intimidation and ugly truth. We are murderers and horrible people.
Benjamin what?
What did you say?
Dr. Benjamin what?
COCCA.
Oh, no, Kate.
Sorry, COSCA. My bad.
SCA. 1?
Yeah, and parentheses 1. I'll get into what that means later. Essentially, it's because I count this, you paying him what he's actually owed, as a positive exchange with the man, and enough positive exchanges with him will turn the nature of his relationship.
Yay!
Whereas you have 0 of those with Dr. Koroba.
Yes, and that's not likely to change.
Does Koroba hate my guts because I helped him?
He has an impression of who you are, but the person he hates is Nikki.
Good.
Because it was Nicholas failed the check on his own, none of you assisted him in it.
I assisted him in that fucking check with ugly truth.
Yeah, but you didn't assist him in the circles check to find Dr. Koroba. which means that he wasn't. He if you had assisted him in a circles test and you had still failed, he would have been like, your poisons killed my nephew. Also, why are you bringing this refugee piece of trash in here?
Daniel, I'm actually pretty sure that I did.
I don't know that you did, but
think
I
that was the first doctor.
That is when I realized I have circles 3.
no, that was this check, right? We just had this conversation here. I don't know. I'll go back and watch it. I'll go back and rewatch it, watch the episode, and if it has, then I'll contact you and we'll just set up that little detail as an aside that he also hates you.
Okay.
Daniel?
Because
yeah.
I'm actually pretty sure I helped him.
Should I add Daddy Dearest to enemy circles?
No, you should not. He's a relationship.
Okay.
He happens to not like you at all, but he's a relationship specifically. He's not a circle.
Alright.
So cool.
For a
You,
second
sir,
there,
you've been healed. What did you say, AJ?
For a second there, I actually thought it was the baby mama's husband. I was like, oh fuck.
Oh no, horror. No, not in this case. I wanted to tempt you away from helping your boss by giving you a nice pair of legs to look at, but you took it upon yourself to resist your instinct and help out. So you won't earn any Arthur for that instinct, but you did help cure your boss. So good on you. All right, so moving on. You are now.
About it.
What did you say?
Is he was asked to stop, even though he's still pouty about it.
Yeah, and it's very nice that you actually chose to do so. It says something that you elected to do as you were asked. However, not to belabor that point, we're about at a point where I want to stop for a break. So let's say we finish for a break now, and we'll rejoin you guys back at your headquarters. And we'll get into you, Chris, rolling a recovery check to see how long it'll actually take you to get better.
Okay, excellent.
All right, so we'll be right back with more Burning Wheel, and see you then. Bye.